for so long, everybody was like, no, there's no aliens. We're covering it up. And now everybody's like, yeah, listen, there's aliens. Like, calm down. And it's like, wait, what?
And essentially, everyone's just gone, oh, okay.
Right.
I've still got to pay my mortgage, though. Yeah, so how does that help me?
Exactly. They're like, well, that's all well and good that there are aliens and stuff, but these eggs are really expensive. What do we do about the eggs? I'll get to the aliens in a minute. I don't have time for the aliens right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Very Special Relationship, the show that puts the ental in transcontinental news. I'm your host from the Phoenix News Network, Andrea Bridges-Smith, and with me from across the sea over in the UK is Matt Johnston from The Interesting Times. Matt, how you doing over there?
Hi, Andrea. Listen, before we begin, if it's okay, I thought I might say that I imagine for all you guys, as you guys would say, are remembering the awful events of September the 11th, 22 years ago now, I believe. Just to say that we are, of course, thinking of you. Sorry, being English means I'm not very good at this sort of thing. But anyway, as the name of this title goes, this very special relationship will endure no matter who leaves us. How has it been?
Well, thank you for that, Matt. I really appreciate it. It's always a sad day over here, but we like to kind of take away our sadness with fury, specifically towards the Republicans who voted against the Fairness for 9/11 Families Act that provided compensation to the victims of 9/11 and their widows and children. A lot of those Republicans have been tweeting things like, never forget, but they seem to have conveniently forgotten that the people actually affected by the event deserve help. And our fury at that really helps to kind of tamp down the sad bits. So yeah, we got that going
never
for
forget what. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So Matt, there's a big story that I am curious about this week in the UK. Apparently there was a Chinese spy in Parliament. What is going on with that?
Yeah, well, there was a parliamentary researcher, who apparently was working for the Chinese government. Not sure if they themselves were Chinese or not, but they did have a parliamentary pass, which not even Boris Johnson has one of those, not anymore. It's worth mentioning that a researcher has denied the spying charges, and so has the Chinese government. Basically, they're saying, why would we bother spying on the UK? Well, it is summer here, so we could do with that little bit of extra shade.
Well, you do have a reputation for being a somewhat quiet country after about 1812, no?
Yeah, it's true. And I actually found that there was a worldwide survey which looked at people from a total of 24 countries and their attitude to work. And if it was important, and the country that thought it wasn't more than any other was us. Yes, the UK.
Huh.
Not sure how I feel about this. I think having a royal family who are literally born with a silver spoon in their mouth and a whole class system can certainly make you a bit cynical about the whole, if you work hard, then you'll be rich. But as us YouTubers who only have a few thousand subscribers can attest to, sometimes the job itself is its own reward, right?
Very true. Yes.
So, by the way, 21st on that list is the US, which I'm surprised about. I mean, whatever happened to the American dream, Andrea?
Well, it turns out we sold the American dream a long time ago for a tidy profit. And now in red states, actually, Republicans are trying to bring back child labor because if grown-ups are disillusioned with hard work for not enough pay, why not fob it off on the kiddos and make it their problem? Do you have child labor over in the UK, Matt?
Yeah, we try to sort of discourage that sort of thing if we can. It was something, again, we were rather well known for in the late 19th century, certainly.
That's true. You did have kind of a corner of the market on little adorable children with little smudges of coal on their tiny adorable faces. So.
And light fingers.
Yes, exactly. Well, one other thing that I thought was interesting from that study is that Russia is only slightly more optimistic about their work than you are. And a lot of their work these days is blowing stuff up. So I don't know, maybe the next time you're stuck in a boring staff meeting, you could try blowing up a strategic military target. Might cheer you up a little bit.
I tell you what, that would lighten the mood no end. I have absolutely no doubt. Yes. What else has been happening over in the US, Andrea?
Well, let's see. The big news over here this week is that there is going to be an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden.
Yeah, I saw that. The House Speaker sort of put it up. What exactly are they impeaching him for?
Matt, never mind. Never
Oh.
mind what for. That's not important. We'll figure that part out later. Now, there is a House committee that has been investigating President Biden for months, but they haven't really found anything. They've been talking about these whistleblowers, and then the whistleblowers mysteriously kind of disappeared for some reason. So naturally, the next step after that failed effort is to take it to the next step and do an impeachment. So Kevin McCarthy is doing this right now because he is trying to appease a pack of wild dogs frothing at the mouth known as the Freedom Caucus. Now, the Freedom Caucus makes up about 10% of the House of Representatives, and they, for some reason, have the power to bring the federal government to a screeching halt, even if the other 90% thinks that they're a bunch of jackasses.
Oh, yes, a democracy, as in dem are crazy.
Yes, yeah.
We've got the same sort of thing here, actually. A group called themselves the European Research Group, which is ironic because they've done no research into Europe whatsoever. They have the likes of Jacob Rees-Mogg and Marc Francois and people like that on the board. And well, in fact, it's not entirely sure how many people are in their number. Something like about 30, which again, as you say, is, well, not even 10%, like 5% of the House of Commons.
Right.
But they seem to very much drive government policy. And it was them that, if you could say, really pushed for the Brexit vote.
Well, the fact that Jacob Rees-Mogg is involved tells me all that I need to know about that group. My new favorite British guy, besides you, of course, is that weirdo.
I don't know how I feel about that. Really?
Honestly, I don't either. So this Freedom Caucus, they are saying, okay, we will, agree to raise the debt ceiling, but only if we can have exactly what we want. And one of the things that they want is impeachment. So Kevin McCarthy said, no problem, we'll do an impeachment inquiry, which immediately infuriated the pack of wild dogs known as the Freedom Caucus, because they wanted an impeachment trial. They wanted the real thing. So the inquiry is just like a fact-finding mission. It's
not big on that, are they?
Well, exactly. If you encounter any pesky facts, then the thing to do is to say that they're all a plot of the deep state, and you just breeze right past them. It's just a real time saver when faced with actual facts. But the impeachment trial is when there are actual proof of things that you found in the inquiry, and now you are moving forward and you are saying not guilty or guilty. And that's what they wanted. And McCarthy was like, well, we don't really have what we need to go do that yet, so we have to do this inquiry first. And they're really upset about it. So Matt, the next time that you are having a bad day, just think about the fact that you're not Kevin McCarthy.
I don't think he's had a good life, has he, really? By the way, you say inquiry, we say inquiry, but, let's call the whole thing off, right?
Right. Potato.
So I see another story going on over there. I see that you are starting to take the weather as a general topic as seriously as we do. Mm-hmm. Or at least I would have thought that was the case, except that I see that a weatherman has received a death sentence, which I think is a bit of a tough call simply for predicting rain on a bank holiday. What's going on with that, Andrea?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's the case over there, but over here, climate change is a bit of a touchy subject. Do you have a lot of climate change deniers over there? Or
well, we used to, but now it's really rather bizarre. People are basically saying, okay, we believe in climate change. We just don't think we're contributing to it that much. And even if we are, it costs a lot, so let's not do it, basically.
Yeah, we've certainly got a bunch of those too. Over here, you kind of either believe it's happening or you send death threats to those who believe it's happening. And there's really no other option except for those two. Believe in climate change, death threats. No middle ground there. Now, I know that you are probably thinking, well, if you disagree with something, maybe you could just keep those opinions to yourself, or maybe even send like a strongly worded letter expressing your disagreement in a rational, sane way. And I would say no, absolutely not. It's gotta be death threats. Or in the case of my YouTube comments, attacking a stranger's appearance while you yourself resemble a bridge troll.
I mean, if they show any picture at all.
Yes, exactly.
Although, let's be honest, if they look like George Clooney, I don't think they'd have a problem showing it, would they, really?
You know, what I find is that male models don't generally have time to comment about my nose on YouTube posts because they're busy fucking female supermodels or other male supermodels, whatever they're into. Sometimes both, have at it. But they don't generally have time for that sort of thing. So the people...
Yeah, and the sculpted guys tend to be down the gym all the time, so it's not going to be somebody sculpted.
Right,
it's going to be somebody eating Cheerios from between their breasts. Let's be honest. Right. I'm talking about the men here.
Exactly, and for anybody out there watching this, I know that my nose is large. It's attached to my face. Okay, you don't need to bring it up. I know. It's not a surprise. I'm a big fan of this nose, by the way.
Absolutely. Quite right, too.
So Matt, speaking of people who have big reactions to little things, I heard a story about someone in the UK that went a little crazy without checking all their facts. So someone was walking their dog and reported a mass murder that turned out to be a yoga class. Like, what happened to Occam's razor? You know, like some people are lying on the floor with candles and we went to ritual death instead of yoga class? What happened?
This has to be my favorite story this year. This has to be. Absolutely. All right. Well, there was no razor involved, by the way. No gun, no kind of no machete or anything like that. Yes, basically what happened, it was in a sleepy little village called Chapel St Leonard's in Lincolnshire. For those that don't know the UK, or rather for those that do know the UK, it's a couple of miles north of Skegness. And for those that don't know the UK, it's nowhere near anywhere you know. Now, a teacher was taking a yoga class, and it involved things like scented candles and, meditation. And the 7 students she was teaching were basically laying under sheets, being calm and, being still and that sort of thing. And it's just getting to dusk as well. So, the lights are going down, things are obviously getting a bit harder to see. And some dog walker walks past the window, peers in at this leisure centre, and I guess just sees 7 lifeless bodies under sheets and reports to the police a mass murder taking place. The police came out swiftly to find everyone was actually not dead.
Right.
The yoga teacher is called Millie Laws, who was a bit shook up about being falsely accused of murder, but she's doing okay. In fact, you could say no laws were broken. Yeah, it's all right, I'll get my coat. But I've got to say, this whole thing, mass murder, secret society or cult in a sleepy English seaside town, this really does sound like a BBC drama I would definitely binge watch.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, especially as apparently the yoga teacher, right, sees the dog walker peering in. So how about this for a twist? A yoga teacher has murdered 7 people, then sees somebody peering in, looking shocked. They go off to report it to the police. The yoga teacher disposes of the bodies and goes out into the streets, gets 7 volunteers and tells them they can all have a free yoga class, but they have to join her now. Police come along and she's covered. As for the bodies, well, yoga teachers always drive camper vans, so I'd check that out.
I think someone should call David Tennant because we have got a hit on our hands right here. We can call it something like maybe the Oxfordshire upon Bellinghaven Thamesbury murders, so people know it takes place.
That's a definite place, by the way.
I made that up. It would not surprise me to find that it is a real place. Matt, I'm curious, what is the most British sounding place name that you have ever heard in your life? Like just the longest,
Oh,
most Britishest place you've ever heard of.
oh. You see, certain things that I think sound British, other people might not do. For before I kind of moved to various other places and moved to London, I grew up in a just outside of a little village called Chagford. And I have everybody says Shagford. No, Chagford, Chagford, which is all around that place are rather kind of small villages like Morton Hampstead,
Oh,
Oakhampton. I went to a school at Oakhampton. So I don't know whether all these things sound very British. I'm not entirely sure. I think there's an upper lower somewhere. A name
yeah.
I can't remember, but it's like upper lower something. And I remember thinking that that sounded incredibly, you know, like an oxymoron, essentially.
Really covers your bases.
Yes.
I'm bummed that it's not Shagford because wouldn't that have been a lot cooler?
Chagford, Morton Hampstead, Oakhampton, Whiddon Down. I'm now thinking of it. Whiddon
Yeah.
Down. Berwick upon Tweed.
Berwick upon Weed. Oh my.
Tweed, as in
Tweed. Even
Tweed,
better. Berwick upon Tweed. Yes, that
which is
is.
interestingly the most northern part of England, and so northern, in fact, it's further north than a few places in Scotland. Basically, the Scottish sort of line goes like that, and the
Uh-huh.
Berwick upon Tweed is right in the corner. I once went there on a panto thing, and let me tell you, it was pretty bleak. I won't lie. Sorry for all those from Berwick upon Tweed, but I was like, yeah, not in a hurry to come back here. What about the most American sounding place? How about that?
There is a place called Dime Box, Texas.
What's it called?
Dime Box, Texas.
Dime box. Love it. That's wonderful.
I don't know what a dime box is. I know what a dime bag is because I've been to college. But
But that really does sound like somewhere where the sheriff would give you hassle if you were an outsider staying for more than 2 days, and tumbleweed would just go rolling through. That's my
I think,
picture. That's all.
yeah, that sounds like an incredibly accurate assessment. I think I've only ever driven through it. I want to say there's like a rail depot or something like that that is the entire reason for that town's existence. But it's a very small town.
Right.
But yeah, we have some pretty weirdly named towns in Texas. There's actually a Paris, Texas,
Oh,
which does not resemble the original whatsoever.
yes. Yes, I can imagine. Any more than Paris Hilton does. Um,
Yes, yes, exactly.
now, a bit of a curveball, which I understand is a baseball term, but
Yes.
I'm going to throw this one out there. Did you see the news about that alien that they're talking about in Mexico?
I saw a picture of the alleged alien corpse. It looked like kind of like a prototype for Baby Yoda that got thrown out before they
Yes,
moved on to the
yes.
next version.
Back to the drawing board. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Do you
just
do you
such.
believe in aliens, Matt?
Well, they have actually found, haven't they, from in the furthest corners of the universe, 120 light years away, which blows my mind as a concept. Signs, or at least a gas that kind of produces the same things that we have here. So it might show that there is actually life out there. But 120 light years means that it's probably it probably had an entire civilization now. They're probably marching on the way here to invade us all or something. But yeah, I think there's life out there, certainly. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely convinced by that Mexico thing. You know.
Yeah, it. I am on the same page with you. I completely believe that there are aliens. Like when you
Mm,
think about how large the universe is and how little we know about it, like obviously there's got to be other stuff out there, living, growing civilizations. It doesn't make any sense that we would be the only inhabited planet anywhere
mm.
ever. But yes, that being said, when I see the little Mexican shriveled up alien corpse. I'm like, nah, I don't think so.
I don't think that
But
could work. Yeah.
wild times that we're living in where
Yeah.
it's, you know, for
Crazy.
so long everybody was like, no, there's no aliens, we're covering it up, but now everybody's like, yeah, listen, there's aliens, like, calm down. And it's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, we've known about it for years, it's not a big deal, just don't freak out. And everybody's just like, wait, what? You told us so long that there was nothing.
I love the fact that that's exactly what's happened with the Americans, isn't it? They've sort of basically turned around and said, yeah, and opened the floodgates, if you like. And essentially, everybody's just gone, oh, okay. You know,
Right.
I've still got to pay my mortgage, though. Yeah, so how does that help me?
Exactly. They're like, well, that's all well and good that there are aliens and stuff, but these eggs are really expensive. What do we do about the eggs? I'll get to the aliens in a minute. I don't have time for the aliens right now.
Aliens next week. All right, let's put off the invasion for a little while at least.
Right, exactly.
I don't know why I
But
keep talking about invasions. They might be friendly aliens. I mean, who knows? It's
well,
just
you are
every
British.
film I've
You do have a
seen.
history of invasion, so
Yeah, exactly. And that can't be a coincidence, can it?
I'm
All right.
saying that like we don't.
That is all that we have time for this week. Thank you. If you want to catch up with the crazy continuing calamity of the crazy constitutional crumbling capers of, I'm trying to think of a word for Trump that begins with a C. No, nothing comes to mind. Oh, well. Anyway, catch up with everything stateside. You can join Andrea at Phoenix News Network, basically this channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do. And my channel, which looks at the Brit shit show, which you can find that at the Interesting Times. Give it a go. Anyway, thank you, Andrea.
Thank you very much.
All
Cheers,
right.
everybody. See you next week.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.